What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the How to Vegan podcast. My name is Kristen. If you guys don't know who I am, I go by Kristen Emily online, so you can check my website out at kristenemily.com. I'm all over social media, so you can find links in the description as well if you want to know more about me and come find me, which you should because we have a good time on social media. So, today's episode, what do vegans eat? That's what we're talking about today. I get this question all of the time. Like, what do you eat? What do vegans even eat? I don't get it. Like, there's nothing to eat once you take out animal products. Guess what? There's a shit ton of things to eat. Mind-blowing amounts of things to eat. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So we'll dive in a little bit about what vegans eat in general, a little bit about what I eat and why, and kind of just dive into the world of vegan food in this episode. So, just a little bit on where I've been in case you've been wondering. I really do want to put out a podcast every week for you guys, but I have been so busy at the beginning of this year working for Treefort Music Fest and running some challenges and stuff like that. So I've just had to kind of put the podcast on the back burner for a hot minute. But I just want you guys to know that I am going to be putting out more consistent content both on my YouTube channel and my podcast and Instagram and all of that stuff. So starting in April, after Treefort Music Fest is over, I'm definitely going to be focusing on more content. I also have a really awesome little thing that I want to share with you guys. In January, I did a 21-day healthy vegan challenge, and it was amazing and so awesome. And the second one is going to be starting on Tuesday, May 1st. I'll be talking more about this in some future episodes, but I just wanted to let you guys know in case you were interested in doing a 21-day healthy vegan challenge. It's amazing. I have an ebook that comes with it with tons of recipes. It's all hosted in an online Facebook group, so it's a blast. It's so much fun. It's amazing. So more details on that later, but I just wanted to let you guys know, mark that down in your calendars and stay tuned for more information on that. Especially go follow me on Instagram at kristen.emily. I post a lot on my stories there and updating everybody what I'm doing and stuff. So if you want to know what I'm doing and want to know when that challenge sign up link is available and stuff, then go follow me on Instagram and join my How to Vegan Facebook group, and you will definitely find those things there. So I just wanted to let you guys know about a couple of things. I also have some awesome guests lined up for the podcast. I think in a couple of podcasts it's going to be an amazing guest. She's a YouTuber. She's a pretty big YouTuber, so it's going to be a blast. So a lot of awesome things coming up for this podcast. So thanks for bearing with me while I've just been kind of doing these kind of just chill episodes, just trying to get some content out there for you guys so that you don't wonder where I am. And I love sharing this with you guys, so I'm fitting it into my schedule this week. I'm just doing it. So yeah, if you guys want to find the podcast, it's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, it's on YouTube. There's unedited video versions on YouTube. It's all over, so go find it, go subscribe. If you're in iTunes, please leave a little review and a rating. It helps push the podcast up. More people see it, which is totally my goal. I just want as many people to learn about veganism as possible and understand how easy and practical and fun and delicious and amazing and rewarding this lifestyle is. So please leave a little review and a rating, subscribe. That really helps out a lot. So thank you guys. And if you want to support the podcast a little more directly, I have a link in the description, and you can support the podcast by shopping some of my favorites on Amazon that way. If you buy something on Amazon, it kicks back a little percentage of the price to me, the price that you pay, but you don't pay any extra, and it just adds up over time and is a nice way to support the podcast if you're wanting to do that in a more direct way. So there's a link in the description for that if you're interested as well. This is kind of like a little hello. I feel like I've missed you guys, so let me talk about what's going on for a minute. So all right, let's just dive right into the episode. What do vegans eat? If you guys have any questions about this as soon as it's over, as always, pop on over to the YouTube channel, find this episode, and just leave a comment in the questions, or leave a question in the comment section, and we can chat about it for sure. And if you ever have any ideas about episodes that you'd like me to do, if you're like, oh my gosh, I just really don't know about this, or this would be a great episode, let me know over on YouTube as well. You can always DM me on Insta too, but I love hearing ideas for episodes, especially if you're a new vegan and you think, this would be a really helpful episode. I'm always open for ideas, so hit me up. I will definitely connect with you. So, okay, enough of me rambling about what's going on. thanks for bearing with me. I had some updates for you guys. But this is going to be a good juicy episode. So let's dive right into it. What do vegans eat? So what do vegans eat? I get this question all the time. Like I said, like, what do you even eat? Like most people assume that when you cut out animal products, you're cutting out most everything, because most of us grow up eating meat at the center of the dish, or eggs for breakfast, or, you know, most everything is kind of centered around an animal product. And so it can be kind of hard to even understand like what you eat without that. A lot of people just assume you take that meat protein, animal protein away, and then that's just what you're eating is the sides. Like that, it is, I mean, that some people do that, but vegans don't just eat lettuce and raw veggie wraps and carrots and hummus and falafel and all that stuff. We do, but we eat so much more. There is so much you can eat. And especially if you're a new vegan and listening to this episode and you're like, yeah, what in the shit am I gonna eat? Like, for real. At first you can feel like this is really overwhelming. I really don't know what I'm gonna eat. Give yourself some time and you will start to find like new combinations of things that you never even dreamed of before, and your taste buds will be just blown away. And a lot of people who don't like to cook, once they go vegan, they start to find that they really are enjoying cooking more. And that can be because you're just experimenting with lots of different plants. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of plants species out there that are edible, and the combinations are endless. So it's actually adding so much more in. You're taking a few things out, like a few animals, and adding in thousands of plants, and your diet just becomes so much more healthier and delicious and vibrant and so good. So no, we don't just eat lettuce and salads and stuff like that, although you can if you want, but there are lots of different varieties of a vegan diet. So there are junk food vegans where you can eat a lot of processed foods. I mean, Oreos are technically vegan, and potato chips and fries, and you can make vegan anything cakes, cookies, anything you want, you can pretty much make an unhealthy vegan version of, or you can find accidentally vegan things in the store because they're just made from such shitty ingredients that they just happen to not have dairy or whatever in them. So you can be a junk food vegan. You can eat at Taco Bell. You can eat at, you know, fast food restaurants, and that's totally a thing. So that's a possibility. There's also paleo vegans who don't eat grains and things like that, but are also vegan, kind of higher fat, no grains. There are also raw vegans, so, you know, people who only eat raw food or live food or anything that isn't cooked above 115 degrees Fahrenheit. There are high carb, low fat vegans who are definitely focused on eating a higher percentage of carbohydrates and low percentage of fat and protein. There are keto vegans who are the opposite. They eat really high fat and really low carb, which, by the way, that scares the shit out of me. Just so you know, we can have another complete episode talking about that. But keto diets scare me. They are pretty unhealthy. So I don't recommend a keto diet, but there are vegans who do it, and you can find Facebook groups and all of that stuff. So I just wanted to toss that in there, that I'm not the biggest fan of those. But and then you can kind of be a mix of any of those or whatever you want, and you can also just be someone who eats intuitively. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I used to associate pretty hardcore with the high carb, low fat vegans, and that's still definitely like more how I eat. I feel best when I fuel my body with carbohydrates. It's the preferred fuel source. It's your brain's only fuel source it can use is glucose, and carbohydrates turn right into glucose. So it's a great energy source. I feel great when I eat that way. I feel like my body likes it. But eating intuitively is what it is all about. And I'll probably do another whole episode on eating intuitively, but that's what I've been doing lately. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what that means, because eating intuitively sounds cool. That sounds nice. I would love to do it. But what is that? What does that mean? And not everybody should, not everybody needs to experiment. Some people already know what feels right for them. But for those of you who just think you're supposed to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and some snacks, or maybe 5 meals, and you just have to follow this exact mold of what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to eat, and you watch other YouTubers or whatever, and you think, oh, I should eat that exact same thing. But People are different. Every single person is different. Bio-individuality is a real thing. It is real. Everybody is completely different. That's why some people are completely allergic to gluten and why some people can eat it and don't have any issue. Same with, lactose and stuff like that. So some people can eat nightshade vegetables, some can't. So every single person is different. So don't ever think that you're the exact same as someone else, because you're not. Bottom line. So really listening to your own body is huge. That has been something that I have learned over the past, I would say, year. I've really been working on it and just listening to my body, being mindful when I'm eating, taking the time to enjoy what I'm eating and not be distracted, so that I can know when I'm full and when I'm hungry and when I'm not needing to eat and just eating mindlessly. So that mindful eating is really important. And I just eat when I'm hungry and I stop eating when I'm satisfied, and I don't eat until I'm full or stuffed all the time. No, sometimes I do, but I try to just stop when my body is satisfied. If I still feel like I might be a little hungry, give it a little bit of time, drink some water. If I'm still hungry in half an hour, then I'll eat some more food. I'm not trying to deprive myself or anything. I just eat when I'm hungry and I don't when I'm not. Sometimes that's 2 meals a day. Sometimes that's 3 meals a day. Sometimes that's snacking all throughout the day. It just totally depends. So just listen to your body and experiment with what feels good for you. Some people like having oats in the morning. Some people like having smoothies. So it just really depends on what feels good for you, and experiment. Take notes, take a little food journal, write stuff down and experiment and find what feels good for you. Don't compare yourself to others. Everybody's different. So just experiment and find what feels good for you. So some examples of what vegans eat in a day. I mean, literally I could just go on and on and on and on and on. But for those of you who aren't aware, for breakfast, literally anything you can dream of and want, normal food style, which now vegan seems normal to me, you can make vegan. So, I mean, there are some exceptions, but things are, especially now, I mean, I've been vegan for 6.5 years and the products on the market now are mind-blowingly so much better than when I first went vegan. So if you're wanting those substitutes, you can totally find vegan breakfast sausage. They have this follow your heart egg, which you can make scrambles and omelets, pancakes, smoothies, cereal, oatmeal. I mean, literally anything that you want, you can make for breakfast. You just have to kind of experiment. So lunch, kind of the same thing. I mean, you can make Caesar salads, Greek salads. You can make wraps, sandwiches. They have vegan deli meat, vegan cheese, vegan mayo, vegan mustard. So if you're used to having just a sandwich for lunch, you can totally make that. You can make your own lunch meat at home. It's called seitan. It's really easy to make, and it's tasty, and it's a good little substitute for meat. Or you can just make a veggie sandwich. You can have burritos. You can have burrito bowls. The list goes on and on. Same for dinner. If you want spaghetti and meatballs, they have meatballs. Gardein makes amazing meatballs. They're so good. Meatball subs, same thing. If you're wanting a Reuben, you can buy those deli slices. Make your own again. So a lot of the stuff that I'm listing right now is kind of the junk food vegan style, but I just want to show you guys and let you guys know that really anything that you crave and that you want, you can probably find a way to make it vegan. Is it going to be exactly the same every time? No. It's not going to be the same thing that you were eating before, because you're not eating dead animal body flesh, and you're not eating the secretions of another animal who was abused and tortured. You're eating healthy, whole plants. And so not always, if it's a processed food, it's definitely not a healthy whole plant, but it's healthier than a lot of your alternatives, and you're not harming animals or the environment. So keep in mind that really kind of whatever you want and whatever you crave, you can kind of have. That the amount of vegan products, like I said, the ice cream. So for dessert, I mean, there's ice cream bars, there's ice cream sandwiches, Ben & Jerry's. If you have a Ben & Jerry's in your area, most of them have a couple of vegan options now by the scoop. It's expanding. Most fast food restaurants or chains and things like that are starting to add more vegan options. So just watch it. By the end of this year, it's going to be everywhere. This vegan thing is not going away. So if you're craving something, don't worry. You can probably find a way to veganize it. My favorite way to do that is to go to Pinterest and just type in okay, so say I'm craving a Reuben. I used to love Reubens. I still do. Just go to Pinterest, type in vegan Reuben, and a bunch of them will come up, and just start clicking and looking at the ingredients and be like, I don't have that, I don't have that. Ooh, that sounds good. And you can combine recipes, you can come up with your own based off of what you see, and just gather inspiration from Pinterest, because it is just such a good source of finding recipes and ideas and things like that. So really, I mean, you can type in vegan nachos, vegan whatever, really probably most everything you can type in vegan in front of, and you will find a recipe for it, because people are creative as shit and are making amazing vegan food. So do that, try that, you will be blown away. So some examples of what I eat in a day and why, just because I get asked this question a lot and I think it's kind of an important thing to talk about. So like I said, I do tend to eat a little bit on the high carb, low fat spectrum of veganism. I do eat intuitively, and lately I've been adding a little bit more like healthy fats in and stuff like that, and not being so afraid of just like nuts and seeds and avocado. I don't eat any oil. If I'm out and stuff like that, clearly I do, but at home I don't cook with any oil, so I really only eat healthy whole fats, like I said, like nuts and seeds and avocado, and the nuts and seeds are usually raw, unless I toast them myself. So I'm pretty mindful about what I'm putting into my body at all times. But just an example of kind of what I eat in a day, and if you're interested in watching a video or several of what I'm eating in a day and want some visuals, please head over to my YouTube channel. It's called Kristen Emily. Just search that on YouTube, it'll pop up. I've got lots of what I eat in a day. I have tons of recipes on there. I have more helpful vegan information. So I think I have like 69 videos as of now. So go scope out my YouTube channel and you can totally find kind of examples of what I eat in a day, which is a really great way to kind of visually see what I'm talking about. So for breakfast, example, I usually eat either a smoothie or an oatmeal. So I usually go to hot yoga around noon. So I'll wake up, and around 9:30 or 10, I'll usually have like some coffee. Before that, I'll have like a whole liter of water, lemon water usually. And then I'll have like a little bit of coffee with some coffee creamer in it. And then I'll usually just have something really light. So usually like a piece of fruit, like a banana or some dates, or I'll have an apple or an orange, like a good big size piece of fruit, maybe a couple. Sometimes I'll have like a little piece of the Ezekiel cinnamon raisin bread that like toasted up, and have a piece of toast with a piece of fruit and some coffee, but something pretty light before hot yoga is what I like. And then that's at noon. And then when I come home, so then I'm technically having lunch, because my breakfast is around like 10:30. I'm technically having lunch around like 2, because by the time I get home and shower and all that stuff, it's usually 2 by the time I'm like ready to start eating my next meal, which is my first big meal of the day, which I technically still call breakfast, even though it's like lunchtime for most people, but my schedule is kind of different. I usually have like a big smoothie or a bowl of oatmeal. Like that's pretty much what I eat every single day. So if it's like hot out, I'll usually make a smoothie. If you want to know what kind of smoothies I eat, go check out my YouTube channel. I have a really good chocolate peanut butter one that I love. And oatmeal. Whatever, I love oatmeal. So, or I'll have like a raw cereal bowl. It kind of just depends, but usually like oats or a smoothie. That's my go-to for breakfast. Lunch, I usually eat leftovers. So kind of like whatever. And lunch for me is kind of just like a snack before dinner. And I eat pretty large meals. So when I have oatmeal, like I make a big bowl of oatmeal, or like a smoothie with like 3 bananas and some other fruit and like a big smoothie. So it's like a big meal around 2. And then like for lunch or for some snacks, I'll snack on like some leftovers, or maybe some veggies and hummus, maybe some more fruit or some dates dipped in peanut butter or almond butter, just kind of like snacking on leftovers throughout the day. While I'm kind of working at home and creating content and connecting and editing and all of that stuff. And then dinner for me is usually around like 8 o'clock at night. So I'll start cooking around 7 and usually eat around 8. I try to go eat around like 7:30, but it's usually around 8 is when I'm like finally hungry and stuff. So yeah, for dinner, I just make whatever I want. A lot of times I'll have like a burrito bowl. So I'll cook up some like rice and beans in the Instant Pot. I also have a video on that on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in that, it's my most popular video. It has like almost 50,000 views. I don't know. Anyway, And I'll have like a burrito bowl with some romaine lettuce and some salsa and a bunch of veggies. Or I will make like sweet potatoes or regular like gold potatoes in the Instant Pot and just have some of those with like some vegetables and some tahini drizzled on top. I usually make some sort of like a bowl with some sort of like grain or legume or potatoes and then any veggies and then some sort of like sauce. Last week I made an amazing Greek salad with some tofu feta, so that recipe is going to be coming to my YouTube channel soon. So I really just kind of like think ahead at the beginning of the week, like what do I want, and then I'll make a batch of it one of the days of the week and then have it throughout the rest of the week. So I made curry this week. I have a lentil and sweet potato curry recipe that's in my ebook that comes with the 21-day challenge. So I made that. I like chili a lot. We have soup a lot, pizza sometimes on the weekends, or we'll make cauliflower wings, mac and cheese. I mean, really, we just kind of decide sushi. We have sushi a lot. What do we want to eat? Let's make it. And if I don't know how to make it, I'll just search on Pinterest and then come up with a recipe and take out the oil and kind of make it customized to my tastes. Boom. Simple. So for desserts, I usually will make like banana and ice cream. You just blend up bananas and a little bit of like non-dairy milk or water in your blender, and you can add whatever you want, and it's just amazing, thick, delicious ice cream. You can make milkshakes that way. Your kids literally would not know if you made them a milkshake. Said it was a milkshake, but the base was bananas instead of ice cream, frozen bananas. So you usually have that. I'm also working on this recipe for this really like healthy chocolate chip cookie dough. So that will be in the ebook that comes with the 21-day healthy vegan challenge too. So I just kind of like experiment. I don't have the biggest sweet tooth, so sometimes I'll just eat like a date dipped in some peanut butter, or sometimes we'll have like some dark chocolate on hand and I'll just have like a little piece of that. I don't do that every day, but sometimes, you know, if I'm wanting something sweet like that, or we'll go get some of that like Ben & Jerry's ice cream or some other sort of delicious vegan ice cream brand and snack on that every once in a while, like on the weekends together when Casey's off, because that ice cream's delicious. So, and then as far as snacks, veggies, hummus, leftovers, fruit, whatever you would normally snack on, crackers, cheese. There's so many different kinds of vegan cheese out there. I'll probably do an episode kind of talking about the best brands and versions of vegan cheese and products and stuff out there. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. Go again, hop over to YouTube and let me know what you want to hear an episode about, because I will totally do an episode for you. So yeah, that's just kind of like a little rundown of what I eat. And again, I don't eat the same thing every single day, and I don't eat really too much caring about, you know, getting enough nutrients. I just eat a wide variety of whole, healthy, plant-based foods, and throughout the week, as long as I'm getting a wide variety of colors and grains and legumes and all of that stuff, then I'm getting the things that I need. If you're concerned about getting enough nutrients, I think episode 5, was it? I don't know. I wrote it down in my notes. Yeah, episode 5 was called Getting Enough Nutrients. Go check that out, because you'll figure out how to get enough calcium, protein, any supplements that you might need to be taking, and all of that. So if you're interested in diving more into the kind of nutrient side of the why I eat what I eat, or how to stay balanced and healthy, then go check out episode 5 of this podcast. That will be super helpful for you. But that's just like a little rundown of what I eat, why I eat it, some ideas of what vegans eat, which is pretty endless now that you know. I'll definitely leave a link for my Pinterest account, Pinterest boards, in the show notes. And if whatever you're watching this podcast on or listening to this podcast on, you can't click on the links in the show notes, you can always just head to kristenemily.com/podcast, and all of the show notes and clickable links and everything that I mentioned in every single episode will be listed there. So I hope you guys liked this episode. I think that's all I had for you guys. If you have any questions at all about what I eat or anything that we talked about today, again, just hop on over to YouTube, search How to Vegan Podcast, find this episode, and then just leave a comment. Be like, hey, I had a question about this, or I would love to see an episode about this, or you mentioned this but didn't go into much detail. And I'm totally there for you. I will answer every single question, and I will listen to you guys, because I am here for you. So and again, please go leave a little review and rating on iTunes. Share this with your friends. Let's just get this podcast out there. I really just started this podcast to help as many people go vegan as possible in a very, you know, like I said, practical, easy, fun, delicious, enjoyable way. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. So if you have any friends or family that are wanting to go vegan and don't know where to start, tell them about this podcast, because it's really going to kind of just be boom, 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 how to go vegan, how to be vegan, how to vegan. Hence the name of the podcast. So, again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a good time listening to this episode. I hope it was helpful. I hope you have a few good little tips to take away from and kind of bring with you throughout your day and into your life. So thanks again for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will just catch you guys in the next episode of the How to Vegan podcast.